11 comments on the tree. So, Joni, when you read comments, make sure you read the comments not just from the Facebook Live, but from the tree post.
Kenny, I don't know how to do that.
Why don't you call me in to do that piece?
I'll just leave you on the phone, okay?
Well, I'll be on the phone, but yeah, okay. So at some point I'll just say, hey, Hedy, you have all these comments on your tree.
Yes. Okay, Mom?
Okay.
Yes.
Let's hear you talk. Let's make sure we can hear you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How about good evening?
Can you hear her? Hello, everybody. Can you hear Hedy?
Wait 1 second, Joni. I'm trying to get on.
Oh, he's not on yet.
Am I on as Hedy or am I on as Mina? Hedy? I'm sorry, Joe. Just give me a minute.
About 40 years ago.
Yes, you're live, girl.
Okay. Four minutes and you go live. So this is test.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hedy is testing her voice.
I'm testing my voice. Eileen, are you there? You're the mentor.
It says tag friends.
Joni is perfect.
Okay.
Oh, good. How much time?
3 minutes.
Okay. So
Jeffrey Kisman is watching.
Oh. Hello to all of you before I start talking. I have my glasses
Eileen
on.
Cutler says hello.
Good.
Joe Tripp says hello, everyone. You sound great.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So we succeeded, despite a bump at the beginning.
We moved into this room because of the glare.
Eileen says you sound good.
Good.
Greg Romer says hello.
Hi.
Greg the Great Grill Chef.
He did a wonderful dinner on the 4th.
On the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Kisman says hello.
Hi.
Looking great.
I could keep talking.
Yeah, you just say hello to people. We'll start.
Hello, everybody. I'm prepared. Today I have an awful lot to tell you that's fascinating. Primarily because of what somebody wrote.
Joe Tripp is watching from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Lauren Raff is watching. Johanna Schneider is watching.
to Lauren Raff, I have to really speak because I'll be reading something she wrote.
And she says, good evening, Hedy.
Good evening, Lauren. Lauren, did you ever give me hard work? Amazing things happened. You know, we're working on our website, and one of the paintings is very unclear. And this evening, I wrote to Jane Daft, because family of hers has the painting. Would you believe, just a couple of hours later, she sent me a picture? I can't believe it. I'm impressed. Jane, thank you.
Okay, Mama. 7
Okay.
o'clock.
Okay. Everybody welcome. And I'll take this on and off. Okay? A lot happened. I'd like to begin with telling you Lauren Raff sent me a message. Unfortunately, on Messenger. Lauren, you gave me such a hard evening because I don't use any social media writing. I don't want the whole world to read what I wrote to anybody. So I thought I can't do it because there are all kinds of little gadgets on the paper, telephones and things like that. I pushed every button, but nothing happened. Nothing said print. And so I couldn't print it. And I thought to myself, do I have to give up just because machines took over? What would I have done before they were invented? Before there was Facebook? I would have taken a pen and copied. And that's what I had to do, Lauren. Do you know how long it took me? Let me begin by reading Lawrence, okay?
Joanne Baker is watching.
Hi, Joanne. Your photos are wonderful. Okay. About Lauren. This is so unusual and wonderful that I was willing to write it all in longhand. Let me begin. I will forever be connected to Ground Zero. I am one of the first responses on 9/11. When others were leaving the city, I was going into the chaos, driving into the chaos. Upon arrival, I actually ran into my husband, who also responded after the first plane crashed into the World Trade Center. He had to run to escape the collapse of the towers. I spent an additional 5 to 6 weeks working on the piles. The sights and fright on people's faces are embedded into my memories. Another location would be Coast Guard Station by Santa Maurice on Long Island. Again, I responded to the crash of Flight 800 when we were pulling out the passengers' luggage from the water with bare hands, followed up with interview of hundreds of people and what they observed. I realize this may not have been what you expected as your connections. On a happier note, my daughter now resides in Long Beach. In each visit there, I connect with my childhood spent at the Shelburne and Capri Beach Club. We were 4 families and were at the beach every day for the summer. Lots of fun.
Put it a little down, a little lower so they can see your face.
Oh, okay. With memories with friends. My handwriting was so hurried because I was so tired. I read it late at night. Then there was a time I prepared the Long Beach boardwalk. No, I jumped the Long Beach boardwalk at 17 years of age, only to be chased by the police. They didn't catch me. I would go on, but I don't usually respond at all, and I don't want to bore you. I'm not a great storyteller to begin with. Love Mondays. I have to tell you, Lord, this is such a gift to me. If anybody is going to write to me, just don't do it on Messenger or social media, because it took me forever to write this, but I couldn't leave it.
Eileen Cutler says she doesn't realize the messenger is in fact private. Glad she persevered.
It's not private.
It is. Well, I don't know. I know nothing.
No.
Don't worry about it. Janine Schultz is on and Julie Williams is watching.
Hi, both of you. Hi, all of you. Okay, now let me go to the main part of this. You can read on the wall about the painting, but I want to speak about Zenaida. Okay? Kent in Sweden. I wrote you about this because both of you I met through the Plaza Hotel. Not by being there, but when I was painting it. Okay, about 40 years ago, I first met Zenaida's mother. She was watching me as I painted the Plaza Hotel, approached and asked if I could teach her young daughter to become an artist. This was highly unusual because at that time, distancing yourself from people who were white was the norm, and vice versa. I was white-skinned and she was brown-skinned, and even approaching me took courage on her part. With such an introduction, I looked forward to meeting her daughter, and here she is. Zenaida had courage.
Should I show the picture?
Yes, please. That's when we just met. We had written to each other for those 40 years, but this time we met. My Zenaida. Zenaida had courage. She had faced the cruelties of school children. Reading and writing were a challenge because she had dyslexia. I remember reading about what dyslexia was, and because not every doctor had diagnosed it at that time. So a lot of children just thought that they were abysmally stupid. And what did I do with Zenaida? We had a little dog, and I had her draw the dog. She said, Mrs. Page, now she can call me Hedy. At that time it was Mrs. Page. She said, but she's turning. And I said, okay, think about it. Think of what she looked like. Start her again. And keep doing her as she turns until you understand her. I did that through guesswork, but later I began to read about people who had dyslexia and to send it to her. I remember I watched a man lecturing once, and he quoted dates and information and people, and he had no notes. I went up to him and I said, how did you do that? You didn't look at notes. You had no information. You're not holding books. How did you do it? And he said, because I have dyslexia. When I was a child, I thought I was stupid. I thought I was completely different from the rest of the world because other people could read and write and I couldn't. And when I found out that I was not stupid, I began to think, but I do other things, so I can't be stupid. So I figured I'm going to memorize. And he said, I listened so completely to people. I had other people read to me until I had it memorized. And now, no matter what anybody says, years later, I can tell you word for word what it was. I remember writing about that to Zenaida, and she began to work on that. I'm living a little bit nearer to her now. For years we wrote to each other after she took classes. And what Zenaida did, she couldn't come today because Jesse was going to bring her, but Jesse's working late today. So she's going to email me some of her wonderful work. She wanted to be an artist. How did she use her art? She decided she would conquer writing. So she began to write beautifully, beautifully. She did her writing with flowers, with decorations. Every envelope that she sent was a masterpiece. So she took a problem and created an art out of it. Zenaida, you owe me. Email me a drawing, okay? And I'll show it next week. Let me tell you some of the things that she said. Life teaches us many lessons, one of which is empowerment, and to have courage and listen to wisdom. About courage, it's just a word. When it comes to learning, not only with dyslexia, but in general, I don't have dyslexia, but I don't listen correctly. I don't file what you tell me into a good part of my mind. I'm making up my mind because of Zenaida that I have to educate my mind again. More things that she said. That means a lot as an artist. You have people around you in the world that will tell you that you are very talented, and others who are cruel and mean. because I had dyslexia, it never made me give up on anything I wanted to do. Because you must believe in yourself and know you have that power with you. It never left. This is my favorite line. Always be the hero in the story about you. Because in a world with many problems, we have to remember to talk to each other, be there for each other, and be creative and share with each other. Today, because I never give up on myself, I can travel, use a cell phone and the computer, and you can learn something, which I am doing now, which is being a teacher. I don't want her talent wasted, because when she speaks of power, it's not a simple word. It means doing something over and over and over. And people will say, oh, that's pretty good. But you know it's not. You know, if you're going to be the hero, it's got to be wonderful.
Should I read you the comments you have so far?
I'd love it.
I told you a lot of the people who are here. Rona Rosenberg Freiser is watching. Kent Almquist is watching. Eileen says, I love the Zenaida story, so powerful, and now the photo. Woo! And Jesse took that photo, right?
Yes.
Mary Lou Bilgrade Rodriguez is watching. Joe, we're so glad that you were able to make it from Pennsylvania. Julie says, that's an incredible photo. Mary Lou says, hi, Hedy, Joy. Denise Genevieve Taylor is watching. And Rona says, hi from Florida, watching you with my 100-year young mom. We love you, Hedy.
Oh, 100.
100. You're just a juvenile.
I know. I have questions for her. Maybe she would talk to me once, because it meant she didn't give up. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, let me tell you a few more. You know, Jessie was wonderful. I said, you know, now we're sort of near from Zenaida. Do you think we could ever see her? And at that time, Jessie was working half days, and I had him every morning. And he said, let's do it. So we picked up Zenaida, and we went for lunch. And there is this child who couldn't read or write once, handling her cell phone, reading the menu. And I know how hard she worked. I just want to say the word hard work sounds so simple, but it's being laughed at, being told you can't do it, and not listening. Okay? And with me, the whole thing really began so many years ago. Jody Savitz, you've already told me that you're listening, except now you have a different name. It began with your family. There was an ad in the newspaper. A man said that they need volunteers to teach a child how to walk. And this was summer, and my kids were free during the summer. We just went to the beach and so on. And I called back and I said, would it be okay if I bring my children to volunteer? And your father said, definitely bring them. And it began a friendship that lasted for years. As a matter of fact, I have at home a thick folder of writings which your father did. And when this pandemic is over, when everybody's vaccinated, let me give them to you. You'll know how to reach me through Facebook, okay? But please don't write to me in any way except with your own email. Okay? Okay. Let me go back.
I'll read you a couple more comments.
Yes.
Paula Lakshan is watching. Rona Rosenberg-Freiser said Mom would be happy to speak with you and that you met at a crisis center walk. And Michelle Kaushka says, happy birthday, dear Hedy. You're a little early.
Yes.
She's still 91.
But only for a few weeks. Joni, can I have the chart of what comes next?
Yes. And Ken, did you want to read something?
Absolutely.
Mom, put this near your microphone.
Wait. I'm putting it to my microphone. Okay.
Beautiful. We posted Hedy's tree, which is finished. It says, the tree is finished. Thank you, Hernan, for this beautiful photo. And there were a number of comments. Charlotte Common said, I love this tree. It looks like the veins of the universe. Very powerful image. Thank you. And Marilu Belgrade de Rodriguez says, speechless. How beautiful. Congratulations. Awesome work. And Kevin Holmes says, hand above, stump. And Janine Schultz says, Hedy, it is so beautiful, just magnificent. And Elena Taylor says, gorgeous. And Ed Weedman says, gorgeous. And Luis Toca says, love the light and the tree. Amazing painting, dear Hedy. And Johnny Santana says, wow, how beautiful. And Lauren Raff says, beautiful work. Looks absolutely amazing. And Carol Hodkin says, absolutely stunning. And Lisa Geller says, beautiful.
Is my head
we are
swelling?
all loving this tree.
Does my head look exploded? Okay. Let's see.
You've got about 10 more minutes.
Okay. Then I'm going to speak about this.
Yes. Should I turn the camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. I want to show you what this little girl to be. Jessie, I need the photos which show all the writing so that I can eventually finish this. Here's what happened. I read about the UFOs, the unidentified flying objects, and I began to think, sooner or later, there must be some connection with all these other universes which must exist. Because how could we be the only ones when so many stars are dead, which probably had life in them once? So before the creators of the universe give up on us, I would like them to know that we're worth living. I started to think of all the kindness that I've met in my life. Look, my parents, my brother and I were rescued during the Hitler time in Vienna by a Nazi uniformed man. When I worked in America as a volunteer in the prison system, and I was stricken with a terrible illness, and no doctor seemed to know what it was, one of the volunteers has a daughter-in-law. No, a daughter whose son-in-law, her husband, worked for Dr. D'Angelo. Dr. D'Angelo had worked with incurable diseases. And so I got an appointment with him. And he said, "You have lupus. Those rosy cheeks you have, that's a sign of lupus." I didn't know. He said, "Enjoy it and make you look pretty. But here's what you do. And it doesn't matter if you call me day or night, I will always be there to answer." And he cured me. So I have met so many people who are kind in my life. And I decided, whenever the visitors from wherever do come to Earth, they should know we're worth existing. And the next generation, when I'm not here, when my grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren should know that there is so much kindness in the world. So, this is the last painting I want to do. Maybe I'll do more, but not of this size. The size is so difficult for me to handle. But it had to be big. It is going to be, Jessie took photographs for me, but Jessie, I still need the ones that show the writing clearly. This is the boardwalk in Long Beach. When the trucks are out with food and millions of people are rushing about, and I am going to be painting the people who have been kind. This is going to be that. This is going to be the tons of people eating and drinking and laughing, but nobody can be in this painting unless they give a description of who they are. Because when I wasn't going to paint anymore because I didn't have the energy to drive to Manhattan, because to me, streets had to be New York, because I could get there when I could drive. And what happened, Eric took me. He said, "You want to do that painting, don't you?" And I said, "Eric, I can't. I don't have the strength anymore to drive to New York and sit on a sidewalk for so long and carry all that equipment." And he kept driving, and then he turned to me and said, "If I would do the driving and carry the equipment, would you do it?" I said, "Eric, you're 89 years old. You can't do that." And he said, "Let's try." And we went to Grand Street. And what happened, we gave people cards which had our email, because so many people stopped and said, "Would she paint me? Would you put me in there?" And Eric answered for me, because that was the Lower East Side. So enough people knew that I did people and sat on sidewalks. And so he said, "She'll put you in if you write a story of how you belong here, of what brought you here." And I met one of the most wonderful families ever. Let me just say, if you wonder why I know so many Chinese people, it's because the first friend I made when we came to Panama, and I was a refugee who couldn't speak English or Spanish, was Lois Lee. And she had a sister named Elita Lee. And she had two wonderful parents. And they made me feel so at home. And that was the first family in Panama who felt just like mine. It didn't matter that I didn't know the language. So to me, whatever I hear against China right now, I keep thinking, oh my goodness, what you're missing. Everybody should have Chinese friends. Okay? So, I am waiting for Jessie to give me the photos where I can see the writing. And every week you're going to see this. But those of you who are going to be in it, I need writing. Okay?
I have a couple more things to read to you.
Okay.
Michelle Kaushka says, Kevin Holmes, a poet, is my good friend. Mary Lou Bilgray de Rodriguez says, the tree is wonderful. I already know which branch I want to be. Michelle says, beautiful thoughts. Robin Millman Muse is watching, and Carol Hodkin is watching.
You know, okay, I have 3 minutes. I just want to say something about the tree. I'm giving it to friends who were so kind because I don't drive anymore. And they drove me back and forth very often. And now they're moving. And that tree is going to be for sale with their house, but not the painting. Because this week I'm going to give them the painting because they are so kind. And remember, in this painting, just being kind to me right now, it's too late. I have a few hundred people right now who are going to be in there, who have been kind without knowing I would do this. I love you all.
Michelle says, I love you all. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Thank you, Joni. Goodbye, everybody.
Lots of hearts.